Hi, everyone. So, thank you all for joining. And for today, we're going to be having a session on academic referencing. Okay, so basically, it's part of the access to higher education module, obviously, which some of you have been, have covered in the class. Some of you maybe not, but not to worry. I'm going to share my screen in few seconds, so just bear with me. So, I'm assuming that you can see this screen which says academic referencing and avoiding plagiarism, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and my name is Collins. Okay, I have been teaching for the past couple of years. I would say
Hi,
six.
Collins.
Hi there. I've been
Hello,
teaching
Collins.
from.
Hello.
Hello, good
Hello.
evening. Hello. Hi there,
Hello.
everyone. Yeah, so basically, today we're going to be covering um, the session regarding academic referencing and avoiding plagiarism. And I just wanted to hear from you all. So, what's your knowledge on plagiarism? What does plagiarism mean to you? Anyone?
Is if I may, is taking someone else's works on your own name and use it
From
as your own
okay. So basically, taking someone else's work from either
and
online or
ideas.
on a book. Okay, yeah. And how about if you have your own piece of work, okay, and let's say, for example, in 2 years' time, you want to reuse the same work. Can you do that?
No, you
Okay.
can.
No.
And is there any specific reason for that? Is it plagiarism or
Yeah, it
what is it?
is
Yes.
another name, but similar as plagiarism.
Absolutely. So basically, plagiarism does not just cover taking someone else's work, but also if you are going to be using your own work, say for example, something that obviously you have used, let's say, a couple of years ago, if you have submitted it as an assignment, when it comes to creating a new assignment, you may not be able to use the same piece of, the same piece of work that you've submitted before. Instead, what you have to do is you have to paraphrase your work. So basically, there is something called paraphrasing. And can someone tell me what is paraphrasing? What do you understand by the word paraphrasing?
When you
You
say want to say something about someone else, well, last phrase, and you have to put inverted commas.
Okay, right. So basically, we do call that citation. You cite your source or reference. Okay, but paraphrasing simply means that you are um, taking something from somewhere, taking something from online, and you're trying to create it in your own words. Does it make sense?
yeah.
So someone else's work, but
Yeah.
obviously you're trying to change it and making sure that obviously, um, you know, it actually belongs to, you actually try to make it yours. Okay. Now, thank you for answering the questions, by the way. So basically today, the presentation outline is why do we reference? Why do we generally reference things? And how do we reference as well? That's one of the things that we're going to be covering today. And what is Harvard style? Because I'm sure that most of you have heard of Harvard style. Have you heard of Harvard style before? Anyone?
Yes.
Now, what is Harvard style to you? What does it mean?
The first name after surname and the year.
Surname. Sorry. Are you able to say that again, please? Sorry. I think I
So
missed that
you
one.
put the first name and after the first initial of the surname, comma, and the year when it's published, the book or whatever you take.
Okay, so basically, we do have various things that obviously we can reference from. We do have books, we do have articles, we do have journals, we do have many things that obviously we can we can reference things from. So Harvard style is just one of the styles that's been used in the UK specifically for universities as well as colleges to make sure that obviously um, the referencing looks very formatted. So it's a certain format of referencing. There are too many ways of referencing. We do have the APA style, we do have the Harvard referencing, we do have a couple of them. I think even in America they do have their own ways or systems of doing the references, but in the UK, particularly, we do use the Harvard referencing style.
Is it organized alphabetical?
Yes, it is indeed, and I will show you that a bit later as well. Can someone please tell me, just obviously, just before I get onto that slide, why do we reference? Why do we do the referencing?
Otherwise, you are stealing the work of others.
When you want to say something about author, and we have to do the references. When, for example, if you want to say something about chant or um, a writer.
So when you want to acknowledge someone else's work, yeah, that's
Yeah.
when you have to do the referencing, which is quite correct anyway.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
So
go on.
we
Sorry.
have to do reference for avoid the plagiarism.
We have to do referencing to avoid plagiarism. That's absolutely correct as well.
So we want to make it clear which ideas are ours and which are someone else.
Yes, that's absolutely correct as well. That's good. Good one. Now let's just move on to the other slide. So to make clear when a particular piece of information idea is not your own, and to tell our readers where it came from. So basically, you're trying to tell the readers where the idea is coming from, and therefore, obviously, that simply refers to referencing. And use other people's work to support our own argument. Say, for example, evidence, examples, and findings, etc. It's quite important. And also to discuss what other people, organizations have said and done, and give our own analysis of it. One of the reasons why we do put the references as well is to discuss what other people, organizations have said and done, and give our own analysis of it. That's just one of the reasons why we do the referencing, and to provide useful definitions and explanations as well of things. That's one of the other reasons. And also to allow other people to find the material we used to support our claims. So say, for example, if you are studying at a university, we do the referencing just to let the professors, or just to let the teachers know that obviously these are the sources that we're using for this piece of work. And it's very, very important, because obviously you're trying to let them know that in terms of this assignment, I have done 1, 2, 3, and I've taken my I've taken my words, or I've taken someone else's piece of work, but obviously I'm trying to convert it to my piece of work via paraphrasing as well. And this is just an example of how to make a reference. So as you can see here, you do have the citation. So the citation here, you have to make a short reference of author's last name and the year of the year of publication in the text of your essay every time you refer someone else's work. For example, when I go onto my Microsoft Office Word, the best way to insert citations is to go to references. And as you can see here, there is insert citation over there. Yeah. And all you have to do to insert the citation, you just have to click on the insert citation and then add the new source. Okay. So let's say, for example, what is a CV? That's probably one of the things that obviously I want to reference, and I want to put a citation. I'll just show you how it works. So let's say, what is a CV from read.co.uk? So let's use an example of this. So basically, this page or this article has been written by someone called Amber Rolfe. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the citation, the simplest way to do it is, you can see here where it says the author. Yeah. Now, the best way is to make sure that you're clicking on edit and you're typing in the correct information in there. This person here, her name is Amber Rolfe. So basically, Amber is the first name and Rolfe is the last name. So when you go back to your Microsoft Office Word, the last name is Rolfe and the first name is Amber. And when you click on add, you can simply see that the author's name has been added on there. Okay. One of the persons that obviously have been working on this particular piece of work, which is Amber Rolfe, and we do have as the author. So the more people that you have, the more people that you need to add. So let's say, for example, Mihaela Bunarius, for example, I've also been working on the same piece of work. I'll add it there as Mihaela, let's say Bunario. Okay, then just click on add. And it's also easy to manage or to act, to remove a person if you wish. Say for example, you now realize that obviously Mihaela did not work on this piece of work, you can just click on the person and just delete the person. Okay, so it just gives it a bit more. It just makes it a bit more easier for a person to create the author or to delete the author as well. So in this case, we do have Amber Rolf, and I'll just click on OK. And in some cases, we do have a corporate author. So how does a corporate author come about? This is when we do have companies that are actually writing some content. Now, for example, if you go on, let's say, to another web page, say, for example, Coca-Cola. So if we search on for Coca-Cola, let's say, annual reports. Let's see what comes up. Now we do have the annual reports for Coca-Cola here, and it says the most recent. Let's have a look. Right. So we do have this page here, which is just the annual report or part of the annual report of Coca-Cola. And when you go further down, you'll probably see either on the very last page or the first page. 1 second. But corporate author is basically the company. If you fail to find the author's name, or if, let's say, for example, it's a report that's created by Coca-Cola, that's basically the corporate author that's been working on that piece of work, and therefore we'll have to list them down as corporate author. So the way how you write the corporate author's name is just the same. When you go on to edit, obviously here you're editing the first name and the last name of the person, but with corporate author, all you have to do is just write down the name of the person, or sorry, write down the name of the company. So if it's Coca-Cola Company or Coca-Cola Company Limited, you just have to write it down as it is. So it's Coca-Cola Company Limited as the corporate author. The name of web page, again, I'll have to go back to the page that I've been viewing, and the name of the web page is what is a CV. So I'll just highlight what is a CV, take that and paste it on the name of web page. So that's the name of web page, which is what is a CV. And the year that this has been created, I'll again have to go back to the page. In some cases, you'll see there by Amber Rolf, let's say on the 27th of November 2020, but in this case, we don't really have a specific date. So what we have to do in this situation, just go further down and take the date over there. So it says that copyright read.co.uk 2020. You need to take that date and have that on there. The year accessed, that is the year that you have accessed this web page. So let's say today, obviously, is the 27th of November 2020. I'll write that down as 2020. The month is November. I'll write it down there, and the date access is the 27th. Okay. The URL, that is the link that you have actually used. How do you take the link? The link is basically, the link is over there, just on top. You need to take that link and paste it on your Microsoft Office with the URL section there. So you just click on paste and you click on OK. Now, what this means is that this is a citation. Okay, this is a citation, and the more citations you create, the more the references. Why? Because as you can see that there is one citation there. When I click on bibliography and then click on references, it will automatically generate. Is it making sense, guys?
Yes, Collins. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's looking really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going back now to, obviously, I'll also try to show you how you can actually be able to update the references when you're done putting all the citations in a piece of work. Now, let's say, for example, you have found another piece of work on what is a CV. Maybe someone else has written about what is a CV on another page. Forget about read.co.uk now. Let's move on to, just type down what is a CV, for example, and you'll be getting lots of various sources, such as Indeed. We do have there Indeed, and when I click on it, it will clearly show you that obviously this, what is a CV, curriculum vitae, definitions and examples, and we do also have the date. the date, the month, and the year that this was written. So in this situation, then it just makes it a bit more easier when you get back to the Microsoft Office Word document. And it says here, indeed, career guide. And do we have any author for this? When I go further down, let's search for the author. This does not really specify who's the author. And whenever you see this, that means that is a corporate author. Okay. Now in this situation, all I have to do is just go back up first and fill up the citation for this specific source. And what I have to do again is just click on insert citation, click on add new source. And again, here you have the author as well as the corporate author. Now in this situation, we do have to reference it as a corporate author because there is no one who's been specifically mentioned that this person has worked on this piece of work. And the corporate author's name is obviously Indeed. When you go further down, you'll find the 2020 Indeed. So just take that name and have it down as the corporate author. Name of web page, again, you have to go up to see what's the name of the web page. So that is the name of the web page. What is a CV, curriculum vitae definition and examples? So I have to take that and have it as the name of web page. The year that this was created is in 2020. Why? Because it says it right there that this piece of work was reviewed by someone on the 25th of August 2020. So I have to take the 2020 and have it as well on my Microsoft Office Word. And then the year accessed, again, there is 2020 November, and the date of today is the 27th. And the URL, once again, is just the link of the page itself. So just copy that and have it over there, and then click on OK. So again, you have created another citation there. Now, all you have to do is once you have created all the citations, then later on, once you've finished writing the piece of work, all you have to do is just click on references and click on update citation and bibliography, and it will automatically update. So it just keeps on updating. The more you write, the more the updates. But obviously, again, at the end of the, once you're done writing all your, or once you're done doing all the citations, all you have to do is just make sure that you're updating the bibliography as well as the references. I hope that is very clear. Now let's just go back to our PPT for the time being. The citation acts as a key so that your reader can find the full reference easily on the list of references at the end of your essay. And now the reference list itself, you make a list at the end of your essay of all the sources you have referred to in your work. You give complete details here, including the publisher. The publisher comes when you're referencing a book, okay, of which I'll show it to you a bit later as we move on. But is it clear between the difference between a citation and the reference list by any chance?
Yes.
All good? Good. Paraphrasing. Can I ask this question to anyone who is willing to give me an answer? Once again, why do we paraphrase?
Just because someone said something and we don't have the right to use that phrase for ours.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So basically, it's someone else's work, and obviously we're not allowed to use the same or the exact thing that the person has actually said, whether it's online, whether it's on the book, anywhere. Okay, in that situation, then I have to, I can take that phrase or I can take that piece of work, but obviously I have to try to create my own piece of work out of that piece of work. Okay, that is basically paraphrasing. So you paraphrase when you change the information read into your own words without changing the original meaning. Why do you paraphrase? It shows that you understand what the writer is saying. Yes, absolutely. And it also makes it easier to build your own argument. For example, you can use what someone else says as evidence or an example to support what you want to say. We paraphrase, obviously, because we don't really want to use someone else's work, okay? But also, it makes it easier for you to understand that piece of work and also to recreate it in your own words. At some point, it also helps you to even do more investigation or even to create your own point out of someone else's point. Okay, so basically, if there is anything else that person could have done better, maybe you, by paraphrasing what the other person has actually done, it could actually make things better or make things much more understandable to other people. And it also fits more easily with your own writing style. Yes, exactly, because at the end of the day, we do all have different writing styles. You may have a different writing style from me, of which obviously to some other people, they do understand a certain way of writing. Okay. And in terms of paraphrasing, it also gives you a bit more flexibility in terms of writing your own piece of work rather than actually using someone else's work. We do have an example here. Let me just quickly zoom it in so that all of you can see. So the original says employers who provide childcare at the workplace have found that lateness declines and levels of stress experienced by employees also decline. The paraphrase reference in that case would be there is evidence to suggest that on-site daycare is beneficial to employees because employees are more punctual and appear to suffer less from stress. Those are two different ways of expressing the same thing. One, which is the original there, the employers who provide childcare at the workplace have found that lateness declines and levels of stress experienced by employers also decline. And whereas we do have the paraphrase reference, which is, meaning the same thing, but just in a different way of writing. Now, moving on to the next slide, again, we do have the same bit there. Obviously, this is just to make it more clear. When I started, I did ask you what is Harvard style. Now, Harvard style is just a specific way of referencing, of which is mainly used in the UK. Okay. Now, the way of referencing that I've shown you on this piece of work here, this is Harvard style. And how do I know that? When you go into the reference tab, you will see there is a style section there which says Harvard. Different countries, or I would say different universities, have got different ways of referencing their work. But in most cases in the UK, generally, the style that's being used by many universities, or I would say all universities in the UK, is the Harvard style. Now, if you go into the drop-down list, you can see here there is the APA, there is Chicago, etc., etc., etc. But as you'll be going to universities all level 4, 5, and 6 here in the UK, then basically you'll be doing the Harvard Anglia style. So obviously, by default, you need to choose the Harvard style. What does it mean? So basically, this should list all and only the sources you have used in your assignment. That's the main aim of the Harvard style. And the list should be in alphabetical order. Okay. So as you can see on Microsoft Office Word, so you can see that there is Indeed and then there is Rolf. So basically, it has to follow an alphabetical order manner. So basically, say for example, you're going to write down anything. Let's just assume that when I insert the citation here, when I add the new source, the name of the author, let's say Andrea, and the last name is Andrescu. When I click on add, I can click on OK, the name of the web page. This is just this is just an example that I'm currently trying to show you. Let's say we're referencing the same from Indeed.
You copied the URL.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry. So let me just start with the URL, that's fine, and the name of the web page. So I'll copy that as well. So that's the name of the web page, and then the year is 2020, the year access is 2020, the month is November, and the day access is the 27th. So when I click on OK, you can see that obviously it has created a citation. Now, if I click on update citations, again, it will arrange itself in an alphabetical order. Okay, so this is just the way, or this is just the Harvard style in general. Obviously, whatever you do, it will then create the references in an alphabetical order. And it also says don't separate different kind of sources unless you are specifically told to. Lastly, it says each reference should follow the format for that kind of text. Now, just not to confuse you, when you do the referencing on Microsoft Office Word, it will do everything for you. So basically, as you're doing the citation, and when you come to extract the references, it will do everything for you. So you don't need to worry about the other explanations on the slideshow. This is just an example of the reference list, but obviously I'm glad that I've actually practically shown you how to do it based on the website. As you can see that we do have the website there as well. But I'm also going to show you how to reference a book, and I'll be checking for a very nice book to actually show you how to do it. And probably an electronic journal as well. I'll probably be able to show you that because those are just going to be the most common things or the common sources that you guys are going to be using when you go on for level 4, 5, and 6. I'll come back to this, not to worry. What is plagiarism? Can anyone explain what plagiarism is?
When you copy something and you don't pay for it.
When you copy something and you don't pay for it.
Yeah, it's like music, and then you sell it for someone to someone else, and you don't give the right to the author who had the songs for the music.
Right. So basically, that is copyright. But also, plagiarism can mean the same thing, but obviously, it's much more into academics. So basically, it's when you actually use someone else's work without acknowledging it. Okay. So basically, you're using someone else's work, as you're saying. Obviously, you're stealing something from someone, or you're using someone else's work without saying this work belongs to Ion. Okay.
Yeah.
That is plagiarism.
Excuse me, but if you take only a phrase, one phrase, not all work, only one phrase.
So basically, whatever you're taking from someone else's piece of work, you also have to state, that's why you have the citation. Okay, so basically, whenever you're taking something from online, whether it's a book, you need to clearly state that this work comes from this person. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Choose as many as you like. So basically from this list, what is, to you, which one is plagiarism and which one is not plagiarism? Can you all see my screen? So you do have A, B, C, D, E. Can you please all tell me which one is plagiarism and which one is not?
A.
All of them except B.
I think it's C.
Okay, hold on. So is A plagiarism?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Is B plagiarism?
No, because it's just an idea. He doesn't use it for gaining something.
Okay. Do you all agree?
Yes.
No, it is plagiarism on the B.
All of them are plagiarism.
All of them are plagiarism. Okay.
B
there
is
one.
not.
Okay,
B
look.
is not.
B is not.
D is not plagiarism. You're correct. Yes, because you're
You
citing
use
someone else's
only the
ideas,
IDs.
and you're actually discussing it. So basically, you're not actually copying someone else's work. Okay. You're
Yes.
citing someone else's idea, but you're also trying to discuss that idea, to other people. So that basically is not part of plagiarism, which is correct. If you're using a graph from the internet without citing it as well, that is basically plagiarism. If you're copying something directly from a book, a journal, or a website without quotation marks or saying where you found it, that is plagiarism. And the rest of them are plagiarism apart from D. Now, to sum up, then obviously I'll just come to the practical bit, where as I'll be trying to show you how to reference a book and journal articles as well. If you have included something in your essay and you do not make it clear that it's someone else's idea, then the readers assume it's your idea simply because it's your own essay. So in that situation, then that is automatically plagiarism, because you have not really mentioned the person who actually came up with the idea. Okay, so that automatically is plagiarism. And that's the convention in academic writing. Therefore, we reference everything that is not our own original work. So anything that's not your own piece of work, please, guys, when you're going for level 4, 5, and 6, you do really have to make sure that you're referencing pieces of work that you're using, which are not yours. Okay?
Sorry, one question.
Yeah.
You just said that using somebody's idea is not plagiarism.
No, I did not say that. I said...
Somebody else said that.
Yes, but again, obviously, when you're using someone else's work, you have to reference that, or you have to provide a citation for that to make sure that obviously people are aware that this is not yours. Does it make sense? As long as you write someone else's piece of work, or let's say, for example, as long as you mention something from someone else's piece of work, and if you just state that obviously this work is from Christina, or this work is from Madeline, or Irina said so and so and so, that is not plagiarism. Why? Because you've at least acknowledged that person's piece of work. Okay.
I want to ask you something. If we use just temples, like CV temple,
A CV template?
Yes, template. That means plagiarism, or?
I don't think so.
No, to be honest with you, so basically you do also find like some CV templates online, and you can also find it in Microsoft Office Word. So basically that is just a template. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that obviously you're taking someone else's work. Those templates are for you to actually fill the information in. So I wouldn't really
Usually
call
they are
that.
free, and if they
Yes.
are with payment, you pay for them, so you can use them.
Absolutely. So you may find like like templates like this. Say for example, for people who really want to go ahead and like create their own CVs, you do also have the CV templates on Microsoft Office Word, whereas you do have this template here, which does not really have anyone's information. This is just a generic template. Does it make sense?
Okay, thanks.
And you can
Yeah.
change it as much as you want. You can write your first name. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that obviously the fonts have to be the same. You can also change the font style and the color as well. So it just, it's just the way that obviously people would wish to write their own, CVs and
Do
all.
it.
Yes. So basically, this is just a generic template. Going back to PPT, is there any questions, by the way? Is there anyone who wants to ask a question?
Christian, I want to ask question.
Yeah.
For example, we are not writing a book. We are not writing like a novel. We are just for economics terms. You have something terms. It's like a law. You cannot do it like paraphrase. You cannot do it. What you are must to do, just do it a reference. For example, if you do it a presentation, we are not something like science. We just use it the past information which we read before at the books. So always, if I'm doing something presentation, if I'm doing something like don't know reports, I must write every time reference because somebody can't accuse me I did it plagiarism.
Good question. Thank you very much for asking that. Now, with regards to what you're saying, say for example, if you're trying to cite a theory, okay, it's a good thing to actually have the citation as well, okay, or just to cover yourself, because obviously if you just write something down without having or without acknowledging that obviously this is not your own theory, that obviously this is someone else's theory, then that is plagiarism. Okay, so the best way to do it, let's say according to let's say for example, for people who have done physics, but obviously I'm just according to Archimedes principle, then obviously you need to start with brackets, or sorry, you need to start with the quotation marks, and then obviously put down whatever that you want to put down, thing that obviously you want to write there. So say for example, just type in anything on what Archimedes principle said, and then close the brackets, and then afterwards you also need to cite that. So basically you can put the citation. Where did you take that piece of information from? And that's why the citations are there. Make sense? Or yeah, go on.
Diana here. I also have a related question. If we do a homework,
yeah,
and we have to do a presentation about a brand, for example, I choose the brand from whom I also worked before. I presented a product.
Okay.
I do know everything about the product, but I used from their side their futures and what they earn, awards and everything. Do I have to reference that, or it's fine if I just copy and put all those futures and everything they said?
Is that for academic purpose?
Yes, it's for the course, yeah.
You have to
I had to
reference.
do a reference, yeah. I had to spoke and to say everything about the not reference. I'm sorry, presentation. So I had a write presentation and spoken. I spoke about the product, but I write it by copying some of the futures and
Yes, I do get your question, but obviously, again, if you are going to take anything from online, let's say something that obviously the company has actually written on their website,
Yeah.
it is good to actually have a reference. Okay.
So I had to put the reference in my presentation, even if it's only a homework.
Yes, absolutely, because that is not your own piece of work. Yeah.
So, for example, you are doing presentation of smartphones.
You're doing a
And
presentation about smartphones.
yes, and you
Okay.
use it specifications from technical information
Mm.
from the manufacturer. So you must do it a refer from where you took these parameters.
Nah, again, to be honest with you, there's some pieces of information that are just out there. So basically, that's nothing to do with, like let's say a full sentence or something which is quite long or like a paragraph of word that obviously someone has said. If it's just, let's say, like some specification, let's say for example 128 gigabyte, or let's say OLED screen or whatever, you don't really have to reference that. I'm talking about, let's say, chunky pieces of text, I'm talking about like paragraphs. So let's say, for example, a sentence or whatever that
So,
you get from
okay,
online.
that was my question, what he asked.
Makes
I just,
sense. You just yeah, you just didn't have the right
I
way to
didn't
actually ask it.
express
That's
it.
fine, no
Yeah.
problem.
Okay. Thank you.
So if it's some technical, if it's something technical, or if it's something which is, let's say, 128 gigabyte, obviously 128 gigabytes, it's really out there, so you don't really have to say that obviously this was mentioned by so and so in 1990 or 19. No, you don't really have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So that is done. Now, how can I avoid plagiarism? There are many ways of how a person can actually avoid plagiarism, and these are the ways. So basically, avoid poor paraphrasing. Make sure that you change the words and the way the sentence is put together. Okay. So whenever you're reading something from online, make sure that you're changing the words. Okay. You don't have to necessarily change the entire meaning of the sentence, but you just need to make sure that you're changing the words, and for that piece of work, or for whatever that you're trying to take from someone else, you just have to make it yours by changing the words itself. You can also be accused of plagiarism if you only change someone's words very slightly. Yes, you can. So if you're only going to change, let's say, one or two words, then obviously, that could still be part of plagiarism, because you haven't really changed the whole thing. You have taken someone else's piece of work, you have only changed few words, and then you haven't even say that this work comes from this, this source or this person. So that is part of plagiarism as well. So you need to avoid poor paraphrasing. You need to make sure that you're paraphrasing as much as you can on
Excuse me,
someone
can I
else's
ask a
piece of work.
question?
Yeah.
There is some app or some program to check if your work has some other people's idea.
A very good question. Yes, you can do that. And we do have, I'm not sure how many of you are actually using this at the minute, which is something called Grammarly. How many of you have heard of Grammarly before? I'm
I
sure
have
that
it
most of
for
you have.
correction of the work.
I have.
Yes. Now, Grammarly, if you are paying for Grammarly, obviously you have to pay for it anyway. For you to be able to have the access to check whether your work is actually not copied from someone else's work, or let's say, is it your own source, or is it your own piece of work that's not been copied from someone else? There is a way of doing that, and also you need to make sure that obviously you're signing up for Grammarly, and for you to be able to have that access to checking plagiarism in Grammarly, you have to pay for it. The other thing is to make sure you understand the sentences you want to paraphrase, to ensure you do not change the meaning. Yes, do not change the meaning of the sentence. You need to make sure that um, you're reading whatever that you want to paraphrase, and then you recreate your own sentence or words out of that. Okay, to avoid completely changing the meaning of of something that obviously you wanted to explain to other people. And don't forget to use quotation marks when you borrow somebody else's words. Again, coming back to my example here, according to Archimedes principle, and then obviously you do have the quotation marks there. That shows that someone said it. Okay, so quotation marks is also a good way of making sure that obviously you're trying to explain to people that this work is not my own piece of work. However, it's someone else's piece of work that obviously I'm trying to use, but obviously I'm quoting the person. And you also have to make clear which arguments of your essay are based on other people's work and whose work you have used. Yes, you do have to make sure that obviously acknowledging other people's arguments and other people's works.
Sorry, Colin, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So these quotation marks, so we are directly copying it and pasting it, and we are acknowledging that this is not my work, this has been said by somebody else. Does it count towards the does it go towards the word count?
No, it does not go. It doesn't really go towards the word count.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't go towards the word count. So basically, the quotation marks, you do also have full stops and commas and all that. It doesn't really add anything to the word count.
And no, I mean the actual quotation, will it go towards the word count?
All right. Okay. So yes. So in that case, yes, it will go towards the word count.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I thought maybe you're asking about the quotation marks, whether they will.
No. I was talking about the actual the phrase.
Yeah. So in that case, yes, it does. It does add on to the word count as well. Is there any questions so far?
No. No.
Right. So what I will do is, I think I'll go back and find a source from a book, for example, and just try to show you how to reference a book. I try to figure out where I can find. This is just an example. So we do have a book here. And this book says Business Communication Achieving Results, Laurie Harville Moore. So basically, this is a book. It's an ebook. And how do I then get to reference this? I do have to go back to my Microsoft Office Word document, which is there. Same procedure. All you have to do is click on Insert Citation and making sure that the style is Harvard. Click on Insert Citation, click on Add New Source. And over there, it will say type of source. So basically, you need to make sure that you're selecting a book. And there is multiple options there. You do have the book, you do have the book section, etc. Now, in that situation, because you're trying to reference from or you're trying to refer from the book, you need to select the book. It will ask you about the author. So the author in this case is this person here. That's Laurie Harville Moore. And then now I'll go back to my Microsoft Office Word, and just to be sure that I'm referencing the word, the author's name correctly, I'll have to go to Edit and then type in the first name. And I do have the middle name there, which is Harville, and then I do have the last name as Moore. So I'll write it down. And then obviously I'll click on Add and click on OK. Again, the more the authors, the more the name that you have to add onto the list. Okay. For example, again, if it's a corporate author, say for example, if it's a big company that has written that book, there is no specific person that has written the book. You do have to click on the corporate author and just state the name of that company. The title of the book here is Business Communication, so I will take that and I will have it on the title. Oops, you didn't take that. I'll just write it down, Business Communication. So when was this book published? I'll have to find the information in the book. And the best place to find it's either on the second page or the third page, or in some cases, you may find the information in the very last page. But in this case, it's clear that obviously we do have it on the third page anyway. Either the first, second, well, basically the second or the third page, just before the contents, you'll have everything there. So this book was published in 2013. So I'll take that. I'll go back to Microsoft Office Word, put it there. It doesn't really take that now. 2013. I'll go back to this. It says Business Communication Achieving Results, and it's the first edition. Yeah, it doesn't really have the city. Why does it not have the city? Because this is just an ebook. In most cases, for the ebooks, you may not be having the city there. But then if it's a hard copy, in most cases you may be having. In most cases you must be having the city of the the place where the book has actually been published. Now, in this case, we don't have the city, but we do have the publisher. Now, the publisher is Bookbon, as you can see it from here. I don't really have to take the bookbon.com, the bookbon.com, but the publisher itself is Bookbon. So I'll just write it there. And we do have the edition. So this is the first edition as what it says there. So all I have to do is just type in first and then click on OK. And that will actually generate the citation. So once again, all I have to do is just, when it comes to the references, click on the references tab and then just click on update citations and bibliography, and it will add the book over there. Does it make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any questions so far?
Which button you press to appear a reference?
All right. So basically, all you have to do is just to click on the references, just using your mouse. You don't have to right click. You just need to click on the references, and you will see here it says update citation and bibliography. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to click on that for it to be able to automatically update. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there any other questions or any doubts or any confusion or anything?
I have the question.
Yeah, go on.
After lesson, where we can find all this information, what we learned today?
I'm trying to think of a good way. I'm not sure if I can actually share this content. Share the
Friends,
content.
I mean, we will be more than happy to send your PowerPoint over to the learners.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fine. But is it gonna be via email or is there a specific?
Yeah, we can
file?
we can email it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good then. That's good to know.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Anything else?
You are a great teacher, Collins. Congratulations.
Thank you very
I'm
much. Thank you.
Anna Anishwara.
I do remember you. Yes, I do.
Okay, guys. So we are kind of running out of time. So, Colin, thank you very much for the session. It was very clear, and it made a complete sense. And yeah, so thank you. So what I'm going to do here, guys, this is Jerin, by the way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to post a link on the chat. So if you are about to finish your, if you're doing a level 3 with us at the moment and you've got a long way to finish, this may not interest you, but if you have completed your level 3 previously, or if you're not doing a qualification with us at the moment, if you are interested for HND program, which is level 5, I'm going to post a link. So if you're interested, just come fill that form for us. Then one of us will give you a call to discuss about the qualification. Okay. But if you've got a long way to finish your level 3, then you don't have to complete it because obviously you need to finish your level 3 first. Okay. So we can capture your data later. But if there is anyone attending the session who is not our current learner, and
excuse me, what do you mean by long-term finishing the term 3?
Let's say if you've got more than a month left to complete.
I have 2nd of February, for example.
2nd of February. So yeah, if you got 2nd of Feb, that's more than a month. So don't worry about completing it now. So we will get back to you about future intake later. So if you got less than a month to complete, or if there's anyone attending the session who's not our learner, who's not doing a level 3 with us, you can complete that. If you are interested for a H&D program, then we can give you a call. I repeat, if you're doing a course with us and if you've got more than a month left, don't complete it because the start date is in end of December. So you'll still be completing your level 3. Those who are in level 3, we will come back to you. I mean, if you've got more than a month left, we will contact you just before you finish your course. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Collins.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Collins.
And I do wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.